What's going on, guys? My name's Theoatrix, and today I'm going to be comparing the Trident of the Seas with the Trident of the Swamp. In this video, I'll talk about their stats and costs, and then I'll do a damage comparison to work out which one is really worth using. So the full Trident is a drop from the Kraken boss, and uncharged regular Tridents can also be dropped from the smaller Kraken, but not the boss itself. In order to get the Trident of the Swamp, a Magic Fang, which is dropped from Zulrah, is used on the ordinary Trident, and doing that requires level 59 crafting. To use either one of the Tridents, so the Swamp or the Seas, it requires level 75 magic, and are arguably probably the best magic weapon in the game for bossing at things like Zulrah and Kraken, or even at things like Barrows. Something interesting about the Trident is that you can't actually use it in PvP, so I'm guessing that's probably because it's really powerful. But one kind of funny thing is that you can actually wear it in Castle Wars, and you can use it on players in Castle Wars, which is really weird since they turn it off in PvP everywhere else except for Castle Wars. They have an attack speed of 2.4 seconds, which is actually quite a bit faster than auto-casting any other magic spell in the game. Every spell from a Trident requires 1 Death Rune, a Chaos Rune, and 5 Fire Runes, and then the Trident of the Seas also requires 10 coins, and the Trident of the Swamp requires a Zulrah scale, so it makes the Trident of the Swamp a little bit more expensive to use. So now I'm going to focus on the regular Trident. So each spell from the Trident of the Seas costs about 520 coins, meaning a full Trident of 2,500 charges will cost you 1.3 mil just in the charges. It gives a magic attack and defense of plus 15, and it also gives a plus 2 stab defense bonus, a plus 3 slash defense bonus, and a plus 1 crush defense bonus. The plus 15 magic attack of the Trident is actually kind of low for a staff, as it's actually the same as an ancient staff, which you only need 50 magic to wear, I believe, so that's a pretty big disadvantage of the regular Trident of the Seas. The Trident of the Swamp, on the other hand, costs about 630 coins per cast, making it about 1.57 mil to fully charge the Trident. The uncharged Toxic Trident costs about 2.5 mil already, so it's only really used by those that can afford it, the wealthier players. But you need to remember that once the Trident runs out of charges, you do get that uncharged Trident back, so the 2.5 mil you spend on getting the Toxic Trident is not going to disappear. The Trident of the Swamp has a 25 magic attack and has the same defense bonuses as the regular Trident. The Swamp also has a 25% chance of venoming your opponent, which is those dark green hit splats which start at 6 damage and then slowly work their way up to 20 damage and then stay at 20 damage until it's cured or the enemy is dead. The Trident of the Swamp actually has a higher base hit, which basically means you're always going to be hitting more with the Trident of the Swamp than the regular Trident. So now to compare the two Tridents, I'm going to enter the Nightmare Zone with each one, and then I'm going to attack on defensive mode for 5 minutes on the same bosses to work out how much I hit. Now the way I'm going to work out how much I hit is that I'm actually going to check the amount of defense XP that I gained, and the reason why I'm doing that is because you actually gain 1 defense XP for each hit of damage you do. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning you can basically work out the damage you've done without having to sit here with a calculator or a notepad, and it makes it a lot easier to work out. So I started off with a full Trident of the Seas, and you can see here after 5 minutes I gained a total of 980 defense XP, which basically means I did 980 total damage. After checking the charges in my Trident, you can see that I used 82 charges. So I did 82 casts and dealt 980 damage, which means on average I dealt 11.95 damage per cast. Now converting that to a GP value, each cast costed 520 coins, so 520 divided by 11.95 means it costs me 43.5 coins per hit of damage that I deal. Next is the Trident of the Swamp, and after 5 minutes I dealt 1,154 points of damage, and I used 89 charges, which means I was dealing on average 12.97 damages per charge. Now this obviously is a little bit higher than the normal Trident as you'd expect, but the real question is it worth paying the extra money for? Well, each cast costs 630 coins from the Trident of the Swamp, which means it costs 48.6 coins per single hit of damage, which means it is more expensive to use per hit of damage, but the higher amount of damage per cast means it's more efficient to use since you'll be dealing more damage faster. Now, it's really up to you which Trident you want to use. They both seem pretty good, to be honest, but the Trident of the Seas gives a little bit less damage, but then it costs 5 coins less per hit of damage, and then the Trident of the Swamp hits a little more, but it costs more at the same time. So if you were going to be using this at Zulrah, I would highly recommend the Trident of the Swamp, since faster kills at Zulrah means faster money. So basically, you'd really easily cover the cost if you were using the Trident of the Swamp, but I'm guessing maybe at things at Barrows, for players that are a bit less wealthy, you could get away with using the regular Trident. Despite you'll be hitting less, it's going to cost you a bit less in the long run. Anyways guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you learned something from this comparison today. If you did, be sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe for more daily old school content. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.